Hey everybody, welcome back into the Play the Fight Song College Football Show. Another offseason week is upon us, which means we got to cover another offseason college football topic. Tonight's topic is our way too early top 10s for the 2026 college football season, along with, of course, our beautiful college football question of the week. And then we will talk college football news. Of course, leading off with North Dakota State Gents joins the FBS into the Mountain West. We will break all that down on the show tonight. But if it's your first time tuning into the show or watching the show, make sure you hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel for all of your college football content during the offseason, during preview season, and during the regular season and playoff. I don't know what Jake's listening to. He's on mute, but he's very excited down there.
He's on a phone call. What he's doing.
The whole crew is here.
Hey, Justin, say hi to the podcast.
Oh, JT.
He's just
up,
calling
JT?
me in the middle of the show. Just has no idea what's going on.
He's a part of Play the Fight Song, by the way. He's an Iowa State host, if you're unfamiliar with JT, and he just doesn't tune in. He's just yapping. But anyway, studio is full. Reese, JP, Jake are all here. We will break down all those topics I listed off tonight on the show. So make sure, like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate you being here more than you know. How we doing tonight, gents? JP, new place? Hopefully new Wi-Fi. How we doing tonight?
No, I'm just downstairs. I haven't moved.
New place. You've never seen that before.
Dirty upstairs. I've definitely been here. I think maybe I was a couple seats over, so like there wasn't this awkward wall behind me.
New background. Okay.
Yeah,
it's simple.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. New change of scenery. These guys switch it up.
We got to get that room cleaned. That's the difference, right? We just weren't ready. We weren't ready.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, I also kind of want to see it.
It's
like how messy are we talking? Like messy enough where it can't even be a background.
Girl messy.
Ooh.
That's a different kind of mess.
Yeah,
just throwing her under the bus.
That could be a mess of a lot of things.
Accountability of himself, just throwing her under the bus.
That doesn't even have to be like clothes. That could be a lot of things.
No, it's 85% clothes, 15% other random things that women throw wherever they need to throw.
Got to clean that up. Jake, how you doing tonight? New little piece to your background there. What is that? Jack Trice?
Yeah. Well, I had it up here. And that didn't show up on my background last time. That wasn't very logistical, so I had to move it down. It is a nice, picturesque version of Jack Trice Stadium at the Whiteout last year. You can find me right in there somewhere. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jake. At what point in adulthood do you stop hanging posters with tape and frame something, or maybe
I just got this one. I have a lot of frame posters in this room. I just got this one. I haven't had time to run over and I probably will frame this one eventually. I have my Masters 16th hole framed up there. Also, have I showed you guys this? Down, we have the Iowa State one, but we got to give a shout out to the boys. Morningside, back-to-back national champs. Got to get that. Got to show them some love on the
JP. Show me the M. JP, show me the M that you like to do.
What's the M? Oh yeah.
No, we don't do that. No, we never did that.
It's kind of
you weren't there, Jake. You wouldn't know.
My letter is up there. We got some Morningside up on the shelf. They're represented here.
JP was about 45.
You know what I also have, Parks?
He just goes.
You know what I also have in my background? Our great partners.
And No Rivals. Shout out No Rivals. ShopNoRivals.com. Use the code PTFS for free shipping at checkout on the best hats in collegiate sports. Check out their new designs. If you're a basketball fan, tuning into the football show tonight, check out the new courtside collection. Wrestling, the best hats by far in collegiate wrestling. Nobody's doing it like No Rivals is. They've got new designs dropping soon. They've been all over the place. Just did a giveaway for the SMU student section. So they're painting the map with No Rivals. And we're helping them with code PTFS for free shipping at checkout on the best hats in collegiate sports. We should have, hopefully, gents, some new No Rivals hats to rock on the show. I don't know, within the next month, if USPS can figure out what's going on with their lives and do their jobs for once. But that's a whole nother story. Reese, how you doing?
We're phenomenal. Got to meet another one of our good buddies here. He just got back.
Yeah, welcome home, Sibs.
I'll shout out Austin Stephenard.
Yes,
just got back from doing his little time overseas. He replaced me over there, and now he's back home. So welcome back home, brother.
Yeah, welcome back home to Sibs. Thank you for your service.
Let's
get into the topic.
We support the troops here.
I was just gonna say, you think that he made it home earlier than expected? Do you think he could change his date to not the Iowa State game for his wedding? I know he doesn't. You probably listen to the show that much.
So
I don't think he's going to hear this. But
make an assumption here. If somebody allows their wedding to be scheduled on week 2 of the college football season, I'm going to say they're not watching Play the Fight song. Like they're not that level of college football.
Fair assumption.
There might be a hand tie there.
There'll be a clip.
Let's talk college football, gents. Let's go into it. Let's start it off with the most recent news in college football, and that is the biggest news in North Dakota State joining the FBS and joining the Mountain West. That is, they will be a part of the video game. College Football 27. They will be a part of the main picture. However, the faults that come with joining the FBS also happened. $5 million to the Mountain West to join it. The $12 million pay, so $17 million out of North Dakota State to get to the Mountain West. They are also ineligible for postseason play until 2028. That includes the Mountain West title, gentlemen, unless we do not have enough eligible teams for bowl season, then they can take a bid that way, which we have seen before. And with teams opting out, like the Notre Dame situation last year, Iowa State situation last year, we may see North Dakota State before the 2028 season. This is 10 of the last 15 national championships at the FCS level come from North Dakota State. This is massive news for the sport. A big player, possibly, potentially, for the Mountain West. What do you think of this news? What do you think of the jump? Obviously, JP, you went back and forth, but Jake, let's hear your thoughts first off the rip.
Yeah, obviously, you guys have known that I've mentioned this before on the show. Based out of here, my headquarters here in Sioux Falls. This is big news in the sport of college football, but guys, it's actually even a bigger deal here. Like for work today, I went to a school and the first teacher I walk into, his door or his room is just full NDSU gear and he's rocking a quarter zip NDSU. Like it's a big, like obviously based out of Fargo, we don't see as much around here in these parts, but it's still a big deal. And obviously it has a lot to do with the Missouri Valley Conference, and South Dakota State fans have their opinions on it. USD fans have their opinions on it. So this has been the talk of the town for the last 3 days. Personally, for me, I love it. It's as far of a drive from Ames as it is to Fargo. So now it's on my list. I got to get up there and hope. I would love to catch a game next year and see whoever. The guy I was talking to, I was like, so you're pretty excited, huh? He goes, he's been to every national championship down in Frisco, all that stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm already planning my Hawaii trip. Like it's happening. So people within Bison country are really excited about it. And it has a lot of different implications to it. And you mentioned the $17 million that they owed. Listening to Sam Herder on Mac and Cube, was that yesterday? He had a lot of really good stuff just on the basis of where South or North Dakota State kind of lands with all this right now. Apparently they're not super well funded for the football program by the school itself from like student fees and things like that. They're one of the lowest teams in FCS actually that gets money from student fees. So this had to be covered basically by donors and boosters and things of that nature. And from my understanding, what Sam said is that all $17 million were basically funded already. Like that's how excited North Dakota State fans are to get and make this jump. And from my understanding, it's crazy, right? Like the grass ain't always greener, but a lot of people in Fargo are ready to make this jump. And they were pretty, dare I say, bored with winning a bunch of national championships at the FCS level. And, it's like, how many trips to Frisco can we do? I think maybe we could talk about what it means for the Mountain West, where they might finish and how they might contend for college football playoff spots in the future. But they're even just more excited. Like we're going to be playing higher opponents every single year, even a guaranteed rate bowl, or just pulling some random bowl game out of my head, that they'd even be excited about that and to play a Power 4 conference or a Power 4 conference opponent in that spot. So they're really excited about it. And there's like recruiting factors in the Dakotas area that's going to be huge now. You have the like South Dakota State pitching. You come here and play for national championships, or you go to North Dakota State now and play Mountain West football, or maybe have a shot at the college football playoffs. So there's still a little bit of bitterness to that factor. I think it's a great move. And I really haven't met too many people that are just college football fans in general that think this is not a good move. And it all stems from like what success James Madison has had over the past, what's it been now, fellas? 4 or 5 years they've been in the FBS. And I think they went, I have to go back and look. I think they went 8-4 in the first season, and then they made that jump right away to go 10-2. They had another 10-win season, and then I think it led up to this college football playoff run that they had. And North Dakota State's just kind of sitting there like they're still the top 5 team in the FCS every year. They're dominating everybody. Nobody will schedule them as far as their bye games. Like they scheduled Colorado a couple years ago, but they don't get that Power 4 conference opponent every single year because nobody wants to play them. And I think they're just up for a new challenge and a new task. And I think they're ready for it. Now, I have some research on the team itself and like, will they be any good this year? And maybe we could talk about that later. But as far as just the overall global scale of the Fargo Dome and everybody in Fargo with this, they're ready to make the jump. I think it's going to translate right away to Mountain West football. And I don't think they have to change anything. I think they're ready to win. And I think they're ready to win pretty much right now.
I think if you look just in the most recent past, obviously we mentioned 10 out of 15 of the last FCS national titles resign in Fargo. Fellas, this team is kind of built like we've seen come out of the Mountain West and be successful, where they run the football, they're big, they're physical. Like it feels like the Oregon to the Big Ten play, where they're Mountain West ready as much as Oregon was Big Ten ready when they made that jump and leap over there. I think that you're not going to see too much of a drastic step back. I think getting through your 2 years of ineligible for postseason play is obviously a challenge when it comes to recruiting, but they've always had those challenges prior because they were a level below, and technically.
And they're petitioning to beat that. So I think they'll beat it. I think they'll be eligible for a bowl game or maybe the college football playoff this year. I think they will beat that. You even saw it last year. Delaware and Missouri State were both. I think actually Missouri State was the only one who was ineligible, but they won 8 games. Like they handled Conference USA play really well coming from the Missouri Valley. And they're like, yeah, I think this team deserves to get in. Let's not put another 5-7 Sun Belt team in a bowl game. Like push comes to shove at the end of the year. They might fight this all year. If North Dakota State goes out and goes 8, 9, 10 wins, they're going to play in some sort of postseason game. I have no doubt in my mind. That's my personal opinion. That's where I see it going.
They weren't any less dominant in 2025, 12-1, 12-0, pretty much without any issues throughout the entire season. They get the bye in the first round of the FCS playoffs, end up getting beat 29-28 by Illinois State, who goes on their run all the way to the FCS national title, loses in overtime, could have won that game. Very good team. And I listened to some interviews from South Dakota State students, and they were like, one, obviously talking about the rivalry, which we'll get into, but two, also talking about like, really, I think they're in over their head. Like they didn't even make it through a single round of the FCS playoffs this year. Of course they said that. Yeah. But it's interesting to hear the takes from around the country. JP, where do you land on everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we're comparing this because it is who it is, right? It's NDSU. We weren't having the same conversations when Missouri State, when Delaware, when James Madison, when App State, when Coastal, when all these teams made a jump, Jacksonville State, even within that, we weren't having the conversations because they weren't on the same level. Like most of those were really good FCS programs and had some history success and were used to it, but they weren't at this level. I think we kind of understood that a lot of those were just, yes, we can make more money by bumping up, right? And we can kind of elevate our athletics by making more money. This one, you're taking a team out of a place where they could, continue to have reign over the FCS and bumping them up. And it's what is now your expectation? It's not just a money grab. Obviously, you believe it. You think you can compete at this level. What is the goal? What is the expectation year in and year out? Now you're in a new look Mountain West where, to be honest, you take out most of your true competition to win that league every year. Now there's going to be teams coming and going at the top of that league, as there is every year in the G5. But you're in a situation now where you probably should be fighting for the top of that Mountain West or getting into that conference title game. And it's just, what is your expectation? Is your expectation, are you good with a college football playoff berth maybe every 7 to 8 years if things go really well? Because this isn't just, oh yeah, let's go 10-2, right? And we'll punch our ticket. You can't even say let's go 11-1 and we'll punch our ticket. You have to be better than the American, which has proven that it's consistently the best conference in the G5, G6 now. You have to go through Sun Belt teams who have shown their ability at their top end to be some of the best, right? It's tough. It's tough. And then you have to deal with this new Pac-12 who kind of elevates themselves and puts themselves above what the Mountain West is now. You have Boise State in that, right? Utah State, Colorado State, Oregon State, Washington State, like those are programs who hold themselves to a higher standard, which is why they made the leap, right? They think the Pac-12 name is going to carry that. So you not only you have to win your games, you have to hope you get the ranking benefit. And if you're already dealing with already not getting these bye games, you're not going to have the same opportunity as these teams to go and prove that you earn those spots. People are going to go buy New Mexico. People are going to go buy Utah State. People are going to go buy Colorado State even. It may still be a little bit before they start buying North Dakota State again. We've seen too many teams get beat, and really it's gone the other way. But maybe with teams buying more games, like teams are buying 3 now every year, pretty much in the Big Ten for the majority of them, and in the SEC. So maybe that goes up. But this is one thing I wanted to highlight here. With the Mountain West and how it sits, there's 10 members, including North Dakota State. So it's a 10-member league. But for next year, they already had the 8-game schedule out. Mm-hmm. They aren't, and all these teams already have their 4 non-con scheduled. So they're not going to change their non-con schedule for this year, is my opinion. You're going to make that whole, all 10 teams completely reset that. So you're going to have North State probably playing 4 FCS opponents, and then they'll get their 8-game Mountain West slate. I don't think they'll switch to have 9, and then everybody cancels one, because it feels late in the game to be doing that.
You don't think they'll get out of you think they're going to play 4 FCS non-conference games next year?
Well, that's what it is right now. I mean, that's what's scheduled. I'm saying some people might get out of some, but New Mexico's not going to get out of New Mexico State. That's not an FCS game, but I'm saying
I'm not saying
to cut one.
Not the Mountain West games. The conference will figure that out. I'm
they'll
saying
probably go to 9 in the next year or two with having 10 flat, right? You want to play everybody every year, and that's going to be the best for the conference to play everybody every year. I'm just saying you're against it this year. You're already behind the 8 ball scheduling wise. You're gonna have to cancel an FCS game, or I don't know who you're gonna.
But
play.
I mean, if it's a year,
who's gonna come play you?
Does it affect you that much? I guess kind of a counterpoint.
I mean, it should because I think you're gonna get the petition, like Jake said.
They'll find people to buy for a non-conference game. Like they're not gonna play Illinois State, South Dakota State, and South Dakota in the non-con next year.
No, they'll have
go play Albany
lower than
that. Like Virginia Tech, I think is still looking for they'll play Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech got out of that James Madison game this year. So there's still people they got out of that James Madison game
to go play someone that's not good like James Madison.
Right.
They're not going to buy North Dakota State.
No,
that's my thing is I don't know how many people are going to be ringing that phone to buy North Dakota State for their buy game.
Not a lot, at least for a while.
I think there'll be Conference USA teams that go up to Fargo. I think they'll buy, but you need to schedule FBS opponents. I'm just saying.
So they have. This is middle of the road FCS that they have scheduled for next year. Incarnate Word, East Tennessee, Central Arkansas, Austin P are their 4. Already, all 4 have dates. That's the first 4 weeks of the season, obviously, because we just talked about it 10 times. People aren't buying them, even when they were the FCS in the last 3 years. Even that Colorado was kind of an outlier for a little bit.
100%. And almost there was rumors around that not happening the year prior with Deion's team. I think one thing I want to highlight, and I think this is where sometimes our Midwest blindness comes in because we're aware of what North Dakota State has been as a program. But I think on the general scale of college football, it's a little bit of a rude awakening for North Dakota State fans where, like your tweet mentioned, JP, where it's really how far can they compete when they get to the FBS level? Because look to a team that just got to the FBS that's on a much lesser scale was kind of doing well in that realm or very much doing well in that realm, but not to their level. In James Madison, they made the college football playoff already after their jump to the FBS just a few years ago. Did anybody pick James Madison to win that college football playoff game or really be competitive in it as much as they should have? No, they're going to have to flip the narrative. They have that belief because they've competed with Power 4 teams before. But I'll tell you what, North Dakota State fans, week 1 is a hell of a lot different than week 12 in college football with these teams and how they approach the game.
Well, and at what point does that become annoying? That they're like, okay, yeah, the Mountain West is we've done pretty well in the Mountain West, and that's the peak. Like you can't say. I had guys in my replies that really helped me out, kind of understand the North Dakota State piece of this, and I think Jake, you touched on it. They were kind of fed up with winning just SCS national titles, where they felt like they'd jump up. Now, obviously, that's calling them being a little spoiled brat, but we've seen that with Alabama at the FBS level, right? but understand it, right? Because there is that bump. There's not that bump for Alabama. There is that bump for North Dakota State. Also, they're talking and citing attendance falling off a little bit, especially early season and then first round of the FCS playoffs, because they want better games. They don't want to watch 40-point wins.
Capacity is 20,000, by the way, folks.
Yeah. And I had some, kind of just explain to me that they see more opportunities, more chances to, like Jake was saying, bring in games, go places and really enjoy that piece of it. But
they were not, they weren't selling out playoff games. Like that's to the point where it was getting like people were getting bored of playoff games. I mean, I'd been to a couple FCS games. Like a lot of people just leave at halftime. Like I don't want to diminish the FCS value because I think there's a lot of good competition and a lot of good teams at that level. But even like South Dakota State and South Dakota a couple of years ago weren't selling out that game. Yeah. And those two schools live an hour apart. Like it's just kind of a different world. And I think
it is different. Yeah.
And people were ready to make that jump. Like if you can't sell out a first round playoff game at your home stadium for an FCS playoff, it is kind of just content. And we'll
as a 12-0 team, by the way.
As a 12-0 team.
Those replies were funny.
12-0 defending national champion.
Yeah. Like I was getting rational thoughts from people. And then I was getting irrational thoughts. Like I was getting people comparing college football to college basketball. And that's just not simply possible. You can't have a serious conversation. They go, what about Gonzaga? I go, we're not really doing this right now, are we? Guy called me a dumbass and was like, remind this guy when they win 10 games. I go, I'm not saying they can't win 10 games. They'll probably win 10 next year. But the path to the college football playoff is not clear, cut, and dry as they say it is, right? And then some of them are saying, you get it, you win the Mountain West, you get in the college football playoff. I said, yeah, probably, but you need help. No matter how well you do. And some accounts were like, you get in the college football playoff, you can win a national title. No, that's not really how that works. That's not.
You have a better chance than people not in the college football playoff. Sure.
I don't think it's people. The more rational people are not like extending that they can win a national title at the FBS level. I think at least the people who made this jump, the athletic directors and the presidents and all this stuff, it's not even this year. It's guys, the inevitable is that the playoff will expand to 16 to 24 teams whenever that happens in the next couple of years. And North Dakota State sees itself as a legitimate shot to, because they'll always keep one G5 team around for the expanded playoff. And they just see it as a greater chance to get into the playoff and the money that you make just by making the playoff alone. Like that is coming from administration in North Dakota State. Like they think that they have no chance. Like it might not happen this year, but they're like, we can definitely get there. And then once we do, that money comes back to us. Like the money we can make from just making the playoff goes far beyond winning the FCS title year in and year out.
I'm just seeing the fan sentiment of it, right? Like what is your end all be all goal? Like what is a success every year? Is it just the Mountain West title? Or if you win a Mountain West title and don't get in the playoff, is that failure? Because it's not, I don't know.
And I think
it'll change in 5 years too.
Like the North Dakota State is lucky to be in the Mountain West, where the Mountain West right now and their TV rights deal, they still keep Saturday games on a regular basis, sometimes on Friday, where we've seen these teams go to Conference USA, like Jack State's a great example, Liberty. They were selling out their FCS games on Saturdays, and then they made the jump for the TV money, but now you're stuck playing on a Tuesday night against Kennesaw. Yeah. And that's not bringing in attendance.
There's some differences there, right? One's in Fargo, where they're the only show in the state. The others are in the middle of Alabama, where Saturdays are in Tuscaloosa, or they're at Auburn.
Yeah. But or even if they were stuck playing on a Tuesday, like
I think they'd be fine. You can't. I don't think it's not apples to apples based.
Fargo, North Dakota ain't getting fired up for that's all they have. They don't have a NFL or whoever the hell to go.
Like Saturday is going to be theirs no matter what. Wednesdays could be theirs. Like the Conference USA Wednesday or Tuesday, like you're saying. I don't think they would really be competing against anything. I think they'd do fine attendance wise because they're it. That's the team. That's the program. Right now, I don't know if like that was really to play into it. Maybe the Mountain West just was geographically more sensible because I can't imagine the Mountain West is the only conference to call them or offer them something. I think it was one maybe a little more mutual interest. If you're the Mountain West, you're feeling like you got your ego up a little bit. You're like, we're going to go after more, aren't we?
I mean, because let's be honest, losing a lot of those teams to the Pac-12 was a huge
big
loss for them.
Huge blow.
And they're like, we're good with North Dakota State. Like, we don't want anybody else. And I call complete bluff on that because if you're Mountain West, you're trying to get Montana State. Yeah, you're trying to get them in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't
think the NIU
whatsoever.
and UTEP is going to supplement the power that you lost.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they brought in Northern Illinois as a backup plan, and now they just kind of landed with North Dakota State.
This might be a really dumb question or something maybe too high level for us. But I know that like you want North Dakota State and South Dakota State, but they're not a package deal, right? Two different schools, two different states. Montana State, are they within the same? Are they like just the state run them?
I will tell you.
So they're kind of a package deal on what the
I
administration
think so.
would handle it with.
And I'll say this right now, like just from listening to everybody too, like South Dakota State's not ready to make the jump. They attendance wise, like they just started getting good at FCS football. Like they weren't
that stadium power like 8 years old.
Yes, they're not ready to make a jump and compete at that level. Guys, they only went 6-5 last year. Like they're not indestructible.
Yeah.
So they're really way farther behind.
That North Dakota State's making more money now in the football realm. So all their other sports, they get to stay in the Summit.
I was going to say, yeah.
The Summit League, yes. Baseball, women's volleyball, basketball, they'll be a part of the Summit League. Let's move on and kind of wrap up this conversation with the question that everybody's kind of wondering. And the rivalry that came or is possibly going to be lost because of this move in the Dakota marker. South Dakota State, North Dakota State, your opinion on whether or not they should keep it? Is it an added benefit for North Dakota State, or is it just a plus situation now for South Dakota State to add a narrative to the Dakota marker that they didn't have before, Reese? What do you think?
I mean, I think if you're South Dakota State, you'd want to keep that because now that they're FBS, you can now have it as extra motivation to play that football game. And like, hey, now we're punching above our weight. Like, and then maybe down the line that helps you try to get up to that level. If you're North Dakota State too, I also just think like it's also regionality. Like that's what I talked about kind of last week when I was like, I hate that we have West Coast teams going to play East Coast teams. I think regionality is huge. Like just for the sport itself, you should keep it because North Dakota people love to talk shit to South Dakota people. Like that's what they do. Is like, and taking this away, you're like, nah, this game doesn't matter anymore. Like you just kind of ruin something for a fan base. Like I would want my 10-year-old kid to grow up to be 50 and hating the same team that he did when he was 10 years old. It's like I would see that aspect of it too, or I would be shocked if they got rid of it just because I think what it means to college football and the sport as a whole, I think it would be a mistake.
Jake?
It puts it in a bad spot for North Dakota. Like now that they're FBS,
I don't see the benefit if you're North Dakota State.
Well, you can't keep the rivalry at like Iowa State doesn't go and play at UNI. So if you're going to keep this sport alive or if this rivalry alive, North Dakota State's never going to Brookings for as long as South Dakota State is an FCS team. So that's the problem. If you want, and then if you just have South Dakota State come up and play in Fargo every year, that defeats the name of the rivalry, the Dakota marker. Like you're just going to one Dakota. It's not the Dakota marker anymore. Yeah, I think South Dakota State fans are really disappointed just because of how much they see each other on a level playing field now and how much the rivalry has increased the last 5 years. But I mean, North Dakota State might have South Dakota State come up every other couple of years, but at this point it's done. And North Dakota State will never travel to Brookings because you just don't play. FBS opponents don't take the money and play at FCS schools.
And I hope I don't get beheaded for this, but I don't feel like the Dakota marker holds the water that maybe the Brawl of the Wild does.
Oh,
there's
a lot of people around. I know you're right in saying that. There are a lot of people around here that think it is one of the best rivalries in college football.
And that could be because we're just getting to the era now of South Dakota State being as good as they've been. But then Montana and Montana State have been as good as they've been for a little bit longer. So that timeline could flip if the rivalry continues. But right now, I'm not putting the same value on the Dakota marker as I would that game. But we'll continue to cover that as we learn more on North Dakota State scheduling as they join the Mountain West Conference in 2026 for football only. And we will see where that conference goes from there. As the
we didn't even mention that NIU's in that too.
NIU and UTEP.
Yeah. You think of Mountain West. That's what I said. Dude. Like, you think the Mountain West is like, why did we add Northern Illinois? Like, we got North Dakota. Yeah, in UTEP. Like, they could have waited and they take North Dakota State and you're what is that now? You're a 8-team league. And then you make the push.
Yeah,
you make the push for Montana State and Montana, and that makes the league so much better. But then you just conference realignment. You had to put Band-Aids on things really fast. You need to makeshift something that really isn't what it is, and now you're left with UTEP and Northern Illinois in your conference.
Yeah, UTEP was like, us? Really? We'll go. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it felt like they were like supplementing those teams.
Look at us.
Maybe
Really?
get to that 18 marker. Like you want to get to that 8-man fantasy league so you can have a league. And they're like, UTEP, Northern Illinois.
You're asking your cousin who's never played. He'll never play. He'll just
update your lineup once a week. That's all we need. That's all.
He's auto drafting. You're like, why the fuck put him in this league?
All right, let's leave that there. That's North Dakota State joining the FBS. Let's move on to the next topic, which is our question of the week, which is, what is your most unpopular college football take? So one that you've given that maybe people are like, dude, I don't know about that. Maybe just the rest of college football fan base can't agree with you. People don't see it. We're in a different area, right? This is Midwest version of college football, which sometimes leads to takes that the South may not agree with, or the West, or even the East Coast. What is that take for you, Jake?
I'm glad you said that, Parks, because mine is, maybe it's pretty controversial, and you mentioned it a little bit last week, and I got me on a good tangent. I think Midwest fans are just as passionate college football fans as SEC fans. And
I think it's more.
Oh, okay. There you go. Listen,
and I mean that with my whole chest.
If you look at, like, for instance, Mississippi State, and they're 2-10, and they're not selling out games in November, and people pick on those Big 10 teams or Big 12 teams like Iowa State who aren't selling out every game in November. Guys, in November, it could be 5 degrees outside and you're 4-7. I would hard to find any team in the sport in America. Look at Florida State. Florida State, if they're terrible, they're not selling out games. You're not showing up.
Renovations on their stadium.
Yeah, they don't care.
2 years ago, they were just like, all right, just start it now.
So don't give this to me that the SEC fans are so much more passionate because they sell out all these games. If it was 5 degrees in November and your team was 4-7, you wouldn't go to the game either. Don't even lie to me, and don't tell me you would sell out the games. Look at Ohio State. It doesn't matter if it's negative 10 degrees. If they're winning games, they're going to go. The same thing would go for Iowa State. It would go for Iowa. It goes for Nebraska. Like, all of these fans continue to show up in the Midwest week after week. If you're winning and you're putting up a real product, people can get passionate about. But people put all the people in the South like use these bad examples of teams that are not winning football games, and it's blistering cold in November, and you're like, see, they don't care. That's why the SEC is the greatest conference of all time, best fan base. I would hard to argue that some of the Midwest fans, us in general, might be biased. We're passionate fans about our team, and we're passionate about the entire sport in general, and we love all the factors in it.
I like that. Unpopular, JP. You got any feedback for that?
I don't.
Ooh,
I don't think I'd be the unpopular piece. I don't know. I don't think I'd be the one to rebuttal that. Or maybe I'm not the wrong.
Yeah, is it unpopular? I guess I should ask. Is that
100%? Because you got to think of the size of the South versus the Midwest just to begin with, and they would have an absolute fit if they were trying to be like, you couldn't survive 12 weeks in the SEC.
I mean, when you think of the South, you think football too.
Do you remember those lovely fellas that we met down in Arkansas who are Auburn fans? And we're like, so do you guys like watch Midwest teams on a given Saturday? No. You know, if you're sitting around, they're like, no, we don't care.
That's the entire reason Alabama thought they had a chance to beat Indiana this year. They go, because that's Indiana. I go, you watched a minute of this team?
And this could be a different, because we're obviously the sickos of the level we are, but we also had a conversation with that same gentleman who we should have known we were going to get this answer after the first question, where it was like, we had just watched Arkansas lose to rival Auburn a year after the Bo Nix fumble scandal, whatever the hell you want to call it. And that place, those bars were just popping. You would have thought Arkansas won by 30. And we were like, does anything change here? Like if Arkansas loses, like if they would have won, this would have been crazy. And they'd be like, nah, it's good. We go to the bar anyway.
Mind you, that was in the 2021 year where Arkansas was humming.
Yeah, they were
playing really well. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. JP, your most unpopular college football take.
Jib's got a list here.
I struggle to find. I struggled to find one. I don't even have one like truly.
A lot of unpopularity about JP.
I'm sure I have one and like have written or found them.
Iowa football is the best brand of football in the sport of college football.
36 dives, the best play in football.
The quarterback bootleg is the greatest play call of mankind. Sorry, JB.
I mean, I got beat on it, so I don't know. I don't really have one. I mean, a small one that I've always said is like, I think Georgia Southern does the basic numbers better than Alabama does. Like, I just think the blue and white pops more than the crimson and white. But I mean, I don't really have anything huge.
Can I give another one like kind of similar to that? And I know I've said this before. I like the traditional helmets. Like I
don't think anybody dislikes them.
I don't think Parks is pretty passionate about that.
Parks says you cannot put on a top 5 list.
That's true. Okay. I'm not saying they're terrible. They are what they are, but do not try and make the argument to me that they're the best helmets in college football when they're legitimately blank.
Okay. But would you put it? Okay. Would you put a Notre Dame top 5?
Yes, I was going to say
Notre Dame is acceptable. I will accept Notre Dame because that's 5. Like different. It's pure gold. They paint them every week. It's not. I'm talking like the Penn State JV. We're going to slap a blue stripe on a white Rydell helmet and call it Rollins Roll.
Okay, cool. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. I just maybe I think the blue and white hits a little bit better than the crimson and white. That maybe that's just
I guess. Me. I mean, people don't see it as much too. You see Alabama all the time too. So
put that on a graphic, Parks. I'm sure that'll go over really well. Georgia Southern's uniforms are way better than Alabama's.
I mean, they're the same exact thing and just a couple color switch.
They are basically the same. Jackson Johnson in the comments, by the way. Shout out Jackson for listening to the show. I know he's an Alabama guy. Covers him on the Voice of College Football for Alabama. It is the same uniform, and Alabama's uniforms are just not great. Honestly, the best thing they do is when they make the playoff, they put the chrome Nike patch on there. That's a good one.
Random. I think we missed this last week for like a disappointing season. Now that we're on Alabama, like nobody mentioned Ryan Williams. That was one I think we missed on last week. Like Ryan Williams' disappointing season. I think that was
definitely
honorable mention that we could have maybe had in there that I thought about today.
And we do not shit on Alabama football as much as what's happening right now, Jackson, just for forewarning for the future of the show. But in that instance, we had to give our takes there. I will go into mine. My unpopular college football take is actually very similar to Jake's, but mine's more on the atmosphere. And I think the SEC atmospheres are completely overhyped. So it goes hand in hand. But my main focus of it is just because you wave a pom-pom back and forth does not making a daunting atmosphere. Because I feel like I constantly see videos of like, look at this crowd, they're ready to go. And it's just women going like this. Like that can't even make that much noise.
What about the cowbell? What about the cowbell and start
like Death Valley, LSU? Yes, I believe in that one because you can literally hear it on the TV. But for some reason, sometimes like I've watched Alabama in a big game at Bryant-Denny, and I'm like, it just doesn't seem all that to me. And maybe it's 25 times louder than what I'm hearing.
I think aesthetically it looks kind of cool.
That's a perfect pom-pom place, Reese. That's the king of it.
Are they called?
I thought you were saying. I thought you were saying there wasn't. What
are they called? What does Van Pelt always? He always makes it. They're not pom-poms. They're shakers.
Yeah, he just calls them
they're shakers. Not pom-poms. They're shakers.
Like they all. A lot of the SEC atmospheres have noisemakers, and if you want to count that was one, but like how about the cowbells in Mississippi State? Like just yell like everybody else. We don't need. I mean, that would be ridiculously loud, but I don't think the atmospheres deserve the hype that they get. I mean, you're not agreeing.
I don't know, man.
You're just making noise.
The swamp is not a place I just want to walk into on a Saturday.
LSU in the swamp. I mean, the swamp right now is a great place.
LSU swamp, not one I would. Sanford.
LSU. No, I'm not saying LSU's on that list. I'm saying the pom-pom places. LSU has never been a pom-pom place. They're screaming cuss words.
Well, Jordan Hare is haunted, so we found that out. I don't know. I think I'd have to experience them for myself, but I think there are some that.
Well, how was Fayetteville?
Just like teams.
I'll give three their credit. I'll give three their credit in their shoes, and maybe four. I'll say Tennessee. I'm not talking about LSU. I'm not talking about Georgia. I am not talking about, and Florida. I will accept as an answer to those. Outside of those,
Florida have them? I don't think Florida has them.
No, I'm not using them. Florida, I'm saying I don't accept is in the fact that I think it does live up to the hype. Like I would put that, I would be okay with that being the top 10 atmosphere in college football. No, hell
did not. Kyle Field is not.
Okay, Kyle Field, yes.
No thanks.
Big 12.
Also, I think Oklahoma.
Yeah, smaller stadium. People realize
it was probably a different situation.
I was supposed to.
Yeah. Again, Kyle Kempt went there and shut him up. Norman doesn't scare Shafe.
No, this is
the year I went. The year I went, that was the Caleb Williams Rattler year where they were switching back and forth. They sold out. That was going to be like a top 10 matchup between two teams who kind of crapped the bed by the end of the year between Iowa State and Oklahoma in 21. But I mean, they sold out. It was a nice November day. They were still loud. Is it above BYU for me? I haven't been to a ton of stadiums, but BYU probably still gets the nod.
I've heard, I think other shows have kind of raised this question about South Carolina, that like once Sandstorm in the first quarter kind of stopped, in between like that Sandstorm moment and like the fourth quarter, it's kind of just like everybody's just kind of there. Like they're waiting for Sandstorm and then Sandstorm ends and then they're waiting to see if they're in the game in the fourth quarter.
Who's a great one? Virginia Tech. They did, but after Enter
SEC.
Oh, we're just doing SEC. I was like, after Enter Sandman, it's like, okay.
If we're going college football wide,
who knows now?
Yeah. Bod Tech fans have done a very good job at showing up for the product they've been given.
That's
over
true.
the last 4 or 5 years. Like they're still out. I'm still waiting for that Bod Tech day to come back and Thursday night's nuts.
If we could bottle up that 2021 Sam Howell North Carolina game at Virginia Tech on Friday night, if we could bottle up that energy,
I
think that would be like you could. But I'm saying like that is, I think, what they aspire to be and what that place should be, what Lane Stadium should be. If you could bottle that up and sell it, it'd be a hell of a drug.
First conference game you get Bod Tech this year with the new coach, James Franklin, all the hype around that. You're going to get that taste back of Virginia Tech being a program like on the national stage, and that atmosphere is going to live up to it. That I cannot wait for. I mean, outside that would be, of course, what we're going to sell that program.
We're going to sell mason jars where we take it into the stadium and as Enter Sandman's playing, just put a video.
Can you trap a sound like that?
And you're like a fart. You're like, hey,
farting in
$300. You can get this bottle of adrenaline from Lane Stadium during Enter Sandman
here too, and grass.
That's the difference between college football fans. Instead of listening to seashells to hear the ocean, we listen to glass mason jars to hear Enter Sandman. Note that here. Reese, your most unpopular college football take?
I talked about JP a while ago. I wonder if he remembers this one, but ignore the name of our podcast right here for Checkin' Boys. But I think that
don't say
marching bands and bands in general in college football.
I don't think you can say that. Like, can we cut
that? Might be the worst take of all time.
It
might actually be the worst take of all time.
The logo.
The fight song, I know, like the fight song, yes, but like the marching band at halftime, like playing it on third down. Because this is my thought process. If I'm a player on third down, would I rather hear the band's version of Metro Boomin or NBA Youngboy, or would I rather hear it over the speakers and actually get fired up?
They do a little bit of both. Most schools do a little bit of both.
And like they're always like, oh, the band's playing the Star Wars theme song. Cool. How about we play something? And also, other thought process. Name me like at all of these stadiums, when is the band like the most like interesting part of the game or whatever's going on? Like Ohio State's band like, dots the I or whatever. Like that's one. But I think about
Georgia's third down that they do every time. I think it's awesome. I don't know what that song's called, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like the TikTok meme that boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
No,
I'm thinking like
I think it's your passion for your fight song, like sitting in the stands pregame. Like for me, it's always like Sons of Nebraska, or when you spell out like the letters of Nebraska, things like that. Like you can't miss. So basically,
Iowa does.
Would you accept it pregame? You're just saying in-game marching band.
I'm saying like in game.
Like get rid of them forever.
I'm saying like in game. Like I don't care.
I have always agreed with that. I have always agreed with that in basketball. I can't stand when they have them in basketball.
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing. But I also probably a hot take too. Where three of us are baseball guys. Like Oregon's at a baseball, or like the Oregon player at a baseball game. I don't care about that.
The Oregon at baseball game
because all it is. It's all it is. So it's like it's the same.
They bring their marching band to baseball
to me. No, I'm saying like Oregon.
Oh, like the Oregon. Okay.
Yeah. Not Oregon player. Like because all he does is the same 5 songs over and over again. So like to me, it's the same thing where.
Like, brother, just dust that off. I would rather take me out to the ball game and let's roll.
Yeah. I would rather hear like the actual song than I would rather play that.
The one feeling that marching bands do bring is, I'm sure every school does this in some form, but when they're entering the stadium and they have the drum line humming, and there's just kind of that extra little tick. Or like when you're driving to school as a 15, 16-year-old kid, and you can hear the marching band on the field just warming up on a Friday before, Friday.
I can hear them.
It's a different feeling
every day.
Like it kind of gives you don't need coffee that morning. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an extra hit of something.
But JP, for the Iowa game,
JP
for that Iowa game, would you rather like have the band play Back in Black, or would you rather hear actual Black in Black by AC/DC when you're walking hand in hand out of the tunnel?
They do a really good job of at Iowa games just doing like after scores, they'll play the fight song and then they'll play a little bit during like the Red Hat guy, you know what I'm saying? Commercials, and then they kind of stop. But Kinnick's got a music problem. They legit have to get better music in there.
I'm going to stand up for Reese's point on one asset to wrap this conversation up, and that is the fact that I can directly tell when the band was given tickets to give to people about at halftime, because like Nebraska, Michigan State last year, for example, it was like mid-second quarter, and I actually leaned over and I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's like a hangover game for the fans. It feels like it's just not that loud in here. And that was right after Michigan, whatever. Maybe it was just a hangover game, but then halftime comes on and you see the people around you filming their children that are in the band, and you're like, see, you're taking away from my experience here. Like, don't give them any tickets. So I'll stand up for that kid. That should go out the window. But we can't say that. Like, we might have to cut that. You can't cut marching bands that play the fight.
Yeah,
that's
again, the jump around, won't back down, calling Baton Rouge, country roads, like all these things that happen in the stadium that are like the most fun fan experiences, they don't involve the band. That's my hot take.
I can hear that. I can hear that because there's partially I agree, but like you need them there if they score. You're just saying they're fine.
That's about it. You need them there for that. That's about it. Otherwise, you're going to hear the coaches on the sideline yelling like, "Why is the band still playing? They can't play right now."
Yeah.
That's
okay.
You can only play so many songs though. Like that's why the band, like you can only play so many different third down songs. Like there's sometimes they change it to like Fiend is a big one, or Mo Bamba, or whatever, and they can only play that so many times.
Are you talking like the band can only play so many, or like
no? The music, you can only play so many different songs over the loudspeaker.
Spotify kind of has unlimited music, and I think I can play a whole lot more than the band who's practiced 5 songs for the week can play.
Stand up and shout.
I can have 100 songs for the approved list that I can just play whenever we want, versus the band practice 5 songs.
All right, let's get to top 10s. Sorry to cut everybody off. Those were great unpopular takes. Drop your unpopular take in the comments section live right now. We can go over it next week, or in the comments if you're watching this on replay. We'll go to the topic of tonight's show. Before we do so, I do want to throw this up there. Fellas, I know it came out maybe a couple hours ago.
We really got to, we kind of don't. We don't need to bring that up. Thanks, Max.
That was Max. Thanks, Max.
I mean, thanks, Max. It is big news in the sport. I'm not going to say what it's for, but
just go look it up if you really care.
It's very bad.
Let's be honest. Like Kingston's a third best receiver on their team. Anyway.
We do not need to go any farther on this. We don't know any details.
Football-wise,
I'm
just talking football. Like he's a third best receiver on their team at best. So
he also returns kicks and punts, which changes things.
And he threw up on the TV. I just remember that. That's legitimately the one thing I remember him doing from after that big punt return. But we'll cover that. Another tough look for BYU, as Retzloff had that issue last year. Maybe Jake can break that one down for you, Max, on the Big 12 show. We'll leave that to him. But let's go to the point of tonight's show, and that's the way too early top 10s for the college football season in 2026. We're going to put Jake on the hot seat first. What we'll do is we'll put him up on the screen. We'll reveal the full top 10. You defend yourself. I'll tell you, we're not going to have to do much defending within this crowd. There was, I think, maybe 1 or 2 team differences within the 4 top 10s that I received, and it's mostly just mixtures around of those 10 teams. So nothing groundbreaking here, but let's talk through why we think these teams deserve these spots. Jake, you being up first, what do you got for us?
Well, first of all, if anyone's going to get upset because I have Indiana all the way down at 8, I'll talk about it. But for me, 1 through 5, Texas at 1, Ohio State at 2, Oregon at 3, LSU 4, Notre Dame 5. And my top 10 was basically like a brief research of who they have coming back, what do their portal additions look like, and all right, week 1 starts tomorrow. Who do I actually think is within this top 10? And then that's what we play the games for. Like everything else will shake out for itself. I think Texas has the best roster in the game. I think that they killed the portal. I think they're absolutely loaded. My stock on Arch Manning couldn't be higher, and I'm ready to bait that all off season. Like I will gladly take the Arch Manning tickets at this point for next year because I think he's going to be awesome. Ohio State gets the benefit of the doubt. They lost a lot of key pieces on defense, but they lost a lot of key pieces on defense from the national championship team, and they just plug and played them. And now they got guys that are going to be going first round in this year's draft. So I think they're going to have other guys ready to go. Like when you get to the bottom, I think Indiana deserves to stay in the top 10. You are the reigning national champ. There's no doubt in my mind. But to say that roster right now, when you look at it and be like, that's a top 5 roster.
You're kind of a Hoover hater, Jake. That'll be my one drawback.
Yeah, I think, let's see what Josh Hoover's made of. I think they did some good things. I think the Kansas State defensive ends they picked up will be really good. They always seem to churn out pass rushers really well under Kurt Cignetti, and I think that that'll be fine. But I just don't know. I right now in the middle of February, I think Indiana could go 10-2 and they'd still be right at 8. Like that's where I picture them at this point. I don't see them going 12-0 again next year. And I think these other 7 teams ahead of them are really good. Georgia at 7 for me. That's the one team I'd be like, I might need to put them higher just because they have some of the best returning production back in college football. And I think that roster is really good. But right now I'm like, we've kind of seen what the new NIL stuff has done with Georgia, and they're not as invincible as years past. So right now, I'll put them right there at 7. I really, and then Miami, I think will be good again. They return a lot of pieces, and they got some really good pieces in the portal. And 10 at Texas A&M. I think our 9 and 10 range is going to be different for the most difference for everybody around here. And I think Texas A&M's ceiling, if the defensive line portal additions hit and the offense clicks and takes another step, that easily is a top 10 team to me. And they went 11-1 last year. And I think that team deserves to be sitting at right around that 10 spot and could win an SEC title.
All right. I like this list. I think a lot of people, I know we had multiple Texases at number 1. You are right. We did have the most differences at 10, I believe. That's where everybody had a different answer. But this is across the board, kind of very similar to my list. So I don't have any drawbacks. Any drawbacks, JP, Reese, on Jake's list, or anybody from the comments? You're like, you're an idiot, Jake.
This might be easiest to go through each of ours and then compare it.
Okay, we'll go to you,
Reese,
JP.
What'd you say?
You're the
Reese had a comment.
No, I was just saying somebody's like Parky was like somebody can comment you're dumb, Schaefer. I was like, or they can say you're smart, Schaefer.
It's usually it's usually the other way
not
around.
Good for the
they don't want to let you know that you did a good job, but they'll let you know if you did a bad job. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
We're only human people.
Welcome to the internet. But it's a good list. Let's go to JP's next. I know Reese and JP were the only two that really had. I had this pretty much the same list as Jake, but different mixes. These two had 2 different teams on them. JP, you're up. It's your list. You had Oklahoma, and you're the only one that had Oklahoma on this list.
Yeah, let's start here. I had Texas in the same spot. I think this is going to be one of the nation's best defenses, if not the best defense in the country. You get a year 2 quarterback boost. That's being Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, right? Second year in it. Put Notre Dame in there as well. Year 2 quarterback boost is just something I expect to happen now. Is a slump possible? Yes, but I think Ohio State and Texas just have 2 of the best defenses in the country. 3rd, Oregon, similar situation. I'm not going to sit here and doubt Dan Lanning. That's also why Kirby Smart and Georgia's at 4, and 5 in Indiana at Cignetti. I think that there's a lot more to recover from and kind of work with for Indiana, and so that might be a little bit of a stretch to have them up at 5. Because it's not a lot of the guys that have been in that program multiple years. It's a lot of pieces they're bringing in and counting on to hit right away, right? 6 LSU, 7 Miami, 8 Notre Dame, 9 Tech, and then 10 Oklahoma. Just kind of like highlighting some things here. I think LSU, I don't think I can just bat my eyes at that talent that they have and what they brought in. I have a big believer in Sam Leavitt. Obviously, he can play himself into wins. He can also play you into losses, just playing crazy football. But I think Lane Kiffin can find a way to really help him out. And I think that defense and bringing back Baker and DC is going to do wonders for him to have a legit defense again on that side of the football. 7, Miami here. This may be a stretch for them to be up at 7, but they've stacked transfer portal after transfer portal class and stacked high school class after high school class down there. Add in a quarterback in Mensa that I think they can really get into a spot where he doesn't turn it over, a lot like what Beck did most of the year this year, but then give you that real upside. Run the football really well. They're going to be great again on the line of scrimmage. Maybe they won't have the NFL high upside guys on the defensive line, but they're going to have really good pieces. Notre Dame wise for me here, similar, right? continually stacking classes, bring back a really good quarterback. You're going to be in a spot where you're going to be favored at just about probably close to 11 or 12 of your games. And that's just going to be a name that rises because people are going to get more and more familiar with the names they already have on the roster that maybe haven't played. Tech, this one's weird for me because yes, they're going to be better than the Big 12. They're going to be a lot better than the Big 12 in some spots, but I think until I see Sorsby quarterback, until I see Sorsby on a large stage against teams like this, sit around him in the top 10. I think their ceiling is similar to what it was this year. And then straight flyer on Oklahoma, right? This is a straight flyer. Possibility being incredibly good on defense again. Have to see the offense bump. I'm not sure if they get better along the offensive line, but they're going to need to try. One glaring omission from here that I don't know if anybody has, but I see in Alabama in some people's. I am struggling on that one until I understand the quarterback situation.
The first time in Play the Fight Song history that not a single one of us have Alabama in our way too early top 10.
Yeah, where were you?
I think the running thing here for my top 5, you're going to be really good on defense. We believe in your quarterback play for the most part, outside of the unproven one at Indiana, right. That is in Josh Hoover, and you're going to be really, really, really good. Did I say on both sides of the line of scrimmage? Both lines of scrimmage, elite defenses, and then quarterbacks that return for the most part. So that's my top 5 for these guys.
All right, Reese, you're up. Your list had somebody different, and that was BYU. Go through yours quickly.
Anybody notice who we left off here at all completely? You guys just both had them number 1. I'm just not going to buy into the preseason number. Like, we had this hype last year with Texas being all this and all that. I know it is year 2, and yes, the defense will be solid, but we saw what happened with Texas early on and just kind of throughout the season with their struggles. So for me, it's kind of like you got to prove it, I think, early on. And I mean, Indiana, I'm just not going to take them off there because, I mean, how many times in my life am I able to put Indiana as my preseason number 1? Cincinnati's still your coach. Like, that's kind of just interesting, I think. Ohio State, obviously, plug and play. Oregon, I think, still going to be back around. And Texas Tech, like you just mentioned, JP, I think they upgraded at quarterback. The defensively, they're still going to be pretty solid. Notre Dame's going to be there. CJ Carr, year 2 bump. And then kind of like at the end, too, there, I just think LSU, you're looking at, I mean, yeah, Lane Kiffin, new program this year. Like, look at what he did at Ole Miss. So I think, like, this year with all the guys they're adding, like, it's hard for – they were kind of like – they weren't like an obvious team last year. I think that was going to make – some people had them. I think it was like Fernelli had them like as their champion, but I thought kind of saw there was flaws with that. But I think this year going forward, this team with Levitt and what they have, like defensively, they saw they kind of try to plus up some of those issues. So I think LSU is going to be an issue. Miami, JP just mentioned, you're plugging year in, year out. You're winning in the trenches. Like Cristobal knew you build from the middle out for both sides of the football. So I think they're just going to be around there. And then I threw in BYU at the end. I think it's just a kind of a fun one to throw in there too. Like, there's a reason Kalani Sitake was being looked at for Penn State. Like, he's a coach year, and you bring back Bear Bachmeier. And again, this is a team that only lost twice to, I mean, the eventual number 4 seed in the college football playoff. Like, they had an argument to be in it at the end. They just didn't, but they still played a good Georgia Tech team at the end. So I think this is a team who, are they going to be kind of sleeper in the Big 12? Like, obviously they have their sights set on Texas Tech, but I mean, if they can find a way to play well, like, they might be able to sneak into, like, get a second Big 12 team in this year. So I got them at number 10.
Any drawbacks on Reese's list, Jake? Interesting to hear from you with BYU getting the bid.
Yeah, I mean,
no, talk to BYU thing. Talk to BYU thing.
Yeah, I'd really have to dive into it. I think they've lost a lot on defense. They did a really nice job again with the portal class. That's a lot of these top 10 people. So, like, to
probably
say that
down on wide receiver 3,
to say that all these teams hit on the portal class and this preseason top 10 in November goes 10 for 10 is not going to actually work out that way. I think sometimes when you do these in way early February, you give some of the teams the benefit of the doubt. And that's what Reese is doing with Indiana at number 1 and BYU at number 10. Look what they've both done the last 2 years, regardless of roster change and anything like that. These coaches have just continued to put a great roster together and have been able to win at such a high level. The only other thing with BYU is I don't know if the defense will be as good as it has been in years past. They lost Jay Hill, who went to Michigan with Kyle Whittingham. And we'll see if they promoted within, and we'll see if that's just another guy that's like knows the system, trusts the system, and it can work again in the Big 12. Regardless, they're in the Big 12. And I know I'm an Iowa State fan, but they are in the Big 12, and they're going to have advantages with their roster regardless of turnover. So they might be preseason top 10, and they might play like it within Big 12, the Big 12 spectrum. But on the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure if they're a top 10 team overall in the sport.
Fair enough. I feel like in Reese's defense, though, before we go to my list, we've had doubts about BYU before.
Yeah.
Like we said in our recap episodes, is we really thought with the Retzloff news last year, we didn't know what BYU was going to be, and it feels eerily similar, maybe without the scandal part of it, partially. And maybe Satake can bring that team back to the level they were this year, where they felt like they could have been in the college football playoff.
Where did they finish in the rankings at the end of the year?
It was like 11.
They were top 15 for sure. Probably.
Yeah,
they weren't top
10.
10, were they?
12.
No, 11.
No, top 10, no.
Okay, because I didn't think they were a top 10 team in the country. I thought they were.
I think they were on the first 4 out list. Am I wrong on that? I'm fairly certain.
I can't find it.
They had to be. They had to be.
But yeah, I think Jake makes good points on them. How much better can they be than last year? I'm not sure.
All right, and then moving on to mine to wrap it up. Mine was basically the exact same as Jake's, just different moves. I think Oregon being number 1 team is probably what jumps off the page to people. It very much intrigues me that we get a repeat quarterback in an Oregon uniform for the first time since Bo Nix, and before that, it was Justin Herbert. And we know how good those two teams were in their second year. So I think the experience that Dante Moore gained from last year, playing in the whiteout, playing multiple playoff games, one of them being at home obviously helps, but the experience he gained through his first year to get him back with his offense, you got to reload some of your weaponry. I think they did a decent job. And plus, I don't know if I'll ever be able to convince myself against Dan Lanning in an offseason with the way he operates his football program. So I'm comfortable with Oregon at 1 to start the year. Ohio State's Ohio State. Indiana, your reigning national champion. I'm a little bit higher on Hoover than I would to say Jake is or other guys on the show, and have a little bit less question marks around him. I like him, and I think Cignetti gets a lot out of those quarterbacks. Texas Tech, I think, could be, if not better, the exact same on the defensive side of things, and we know they got the improved quarterback. Texas, I will be high on them again. I think the way they were playing at the end of the year was obviously entirely different than what we saw in the first 5 weeks of college football. Georgia, A&M, all speak for themselves. The other big 2 players, LSU, we got to see it.
I think LSU is the biggest wild card out of all of our top 10 teams.
We got to see it, but on paper,
it
looks good.
Yeah,
do not disagree.
Absolutely, wild card because you could see them win a national title, and you could see them going 8-4, or wild card because you're just.
I can see them both doing 8-4 and a national title.
Biggest ceiling, lowest floor, absolutely. Just given like the Lane Kiffin culture and all that surrounds it, like guys,
Levitt's health.
Yeah, Levitt's health is a great point. I know they got Longstreet, but we don't know how good he is yet. Some of these guys, they play Clemson week 1. Like if some things go bad and they lose, like do you have guys locked in
which
all
we've seen
year?
Before USC?
Yeah. Well, you have guys playing hard for 12 more games or 11 more games. We'll have to wait and find out.
And then Notre Dame at 10. Before we get to the general conversation, my one case would be I only have them at 10 and not a little higher because I am worried about the impact Jeremiah Love's departure will make within that offense. I think CJ Carr last year, a lot of the explosive plays came from just dumping it off to Jeremiah Love and doing it what he does. They have good backs. I'm not saying they don't, but they'll take a step forward. The schedule is obviously there. I think honestly, if they were a plus 150 to make the college football playoff with their schedule, it wouldn't shock me. I don't think they leave the top 10 the entire season. That's a bold prediction, but I think 10 is the lowest we'll see Notre Dame
with that schedule.
Any
better
ranking.
Not.
Yeah.
The Oregon piece I wanted to just kind of talk about is, you just heard me rave about Arch Manning, but I don't know have we seen such a separation between who's quarterback 1 in college football and everybody else right now between Dante Moore in the field. Like right now, I think Dante Moore is just maybe he doesn't have the biggest ceiling as some of these other guys that might go pro next year, but I think like he's the biggest, easily well-known commodity of what you're going
pending.
to get.
They have one of the better backups with the most experience too. Health pending.
No, it's a good point. But I just think like, man, like having Dante Moore back next year, every other team in the country wishes they had a guy like that they could bring back next year. He was going to be he could have been a top 5 pick this year.
Yep.
That's not to say he's going to be the best quarterback next year though.
No, when it's all said and done, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. But like in February right now, what I'm getting out of Dante Moore compared to everybody else, like it's head and shoulders above everyone to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the field. Any teams, and I want to ask this question, JP, before you make your comment, but then I do have a question to wrap up the top 10s as a whole that will lead us into the end of the show.
Well, I just had one team I didn't put on mine that you guys all had that I kind of wanted to go over.
Okay.
You have him at 7. Jake had him at 10. Reese had him at 7 or 6 or 7 as well. A&M to me.
Let's look at JP's top 10 a little bit while you're talking.
Yeah, A&M's a little bit of a worry to me. I think the Klein deal is a little bit more than being let on. I think you're now going to sit. I'm not going to this isn't a schedule situation. I'm not ranking a team based off the schedule. Holman Wiggins is a guy they promoted from within to be their new OC. Schedule gets a lot tougher. And without Kleiman, I wonder about Marcel Reed. I know they're going to be really good defensively, but they were a really good offensive line until they were really challenged in some spots, right? Like that is a really good team that played a really good Miami front that nobody could run on. But I don't know. Are they really going to be that much better on both lines of scrimmage? Are they going to be that force? I worry about them and being a top 10 team. And so that's why I don't have them there. I think there's more questions with Marcel Reed. There's more questions with what they're going to be along the offensive line front. They have weapons on the outside. We know that. I'm wondering, and I don't have the confidence to put them in a way too early top 10.
That's fair. I don't think I have no click back on that. I think Marcel Reed, and especially with the recency bias from what we saw in their last game against Miami and the defensive battle that was and how stifled that A&M offense was, warranted. 100% warranted.
Yeah, and they go to LSU next year. They go to South Carolina. They go to Oklahoma. They play Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, Arizona State. Like they don't have an easy schedule next year. And if they're not, they could be the same team this year and have 3 more losses.
Mike Elko is he's a good ass.
I mean, they also, wasn't that South Carolina game? They were down 31.5 or whatever it was. And like they just had that miracle happen. So like that's a spot people forget. You get to 11-0, then you drop your last 2. So it's a tough thing. But yeah, that almost happened this year.
I'm so glad we brought them up because that's what I want to end tonight's show with is everybody give a quick answer. And you might have to think it through. So whoever's going first, I'm sorry. Last year, I looked back at our way too early top 10s, not just us, but the national media. South Carolina was a pretty consistent team from us and the national media. Who is most likely on your list to be the South Carolina of 2026, Jake? Well, let's look at Jake's list so he can think it through.
I think we already kind of talked about it.
I think it might be like A&M if we're going that route. I would think it'd be A&M. My second vote would be LSU. But I think it's hard to bet against Kiffin at this point. Like gun to my head, who's going to have who's not going to go to a bowl game if shit hits the fan between LSU and A&M? I would say probably A&M just because of the schedule, how it laid out for them last year at every point that JP made. Can Marcel Reed actually take that next consistent step? I don't know, man. Like I think he can. I love Craver and some of the pieces on offense, but I still have that stink in the back of my mind from when we saw him play Miami in that playoff game. That's just not going to go away until they play another game next year.
Completely fair. JP, on your list, who do you feel like could be that role?
Yeah, your cop-out answer is probably Oklahoma at 10, right?
Okay.
But to be a little more like, what the heck kind of situation, I think it probably Indiana. Like it just the amount of change they have to go through. I don't think their schedule is much tougher next year. They had a tough one this year for sure, right? They had to go to Iowa City, went to Eugene, had some other tough ones. That might be the one where if you're just regression to the natural mean, but you're also banking on a really good coach having a really poor year. But in the world of portal, in the world of bringing guys in, sometimes you miss, right?
It just gets weird. Yeah, it definitely gets weird.
I think on my list, I would pick LSU as that team. Same reasons Jake list. I think on paper, right? How many times have we talked about teams on paper? Penn State last year and a lot of top 10s in the preseason. Obviously, that didn't work out either. LSU, same thing. Levitt's health is a big question mark to me. So I feel like if that goes south, we don't know what we're getting from Longstreet. They could pan out to be the 7-5, 8-4 team. And I'm not saying that would raise any red flags if you're LSU, but just most likely to be the South Carolina of 25 in my mind. Reese, agree, or you got somebody different?
I'll just do it to be different. I mean, we already talked about BYU at 10 for like there could be issues on the defensive side of the ball, but I'll throw like a curveball and, what if Miami next year doesn't pan out like we saw with that defense? Absolutely. We saw that defense.
Before, though.
Yeah, I did. Defense was the reason that team was so dominant. But I mean, we also still have seen Cristobal kind of make those coaching mistakes in the past. And like this team did drop 2 during the regular season. So like, I don't think it'd be out of, because every time November rolls around, you're like, all right, well, who's Miami playing this month? Because somebody might find a way to squeak one out or win by 3 or 7 or whatever it is. Like, I don't think Miami would be a far cry to say for that, because we were talking about LSU is like they can be the champion or they can go 8-4, 7-5, whatever. But I think Miami is another one out there that we haven't talked about that who knows if offensively it just doesn't click or defensively they're just not what they were last year. Because, I mean, that defense last year, they have 2 guys that are going to be potential top 5 picks. So,
all right. That's everything. That's the top 10s, the way too early top 10s for 2026. Sorry, Jake. Did I cut them off?
Well, I was just saying before we jump out of here, dude. I mean, the people are waiting. I mean, we have no idea what we're talking about. We have 3 people listening on YouTube. You can get out of here if you want, but you probably want to stick around for this. I mean, we have schedules to be released for year 3 in the Dynasty. Like, people want to know who we're playing.
Are we going to do that live on the show?
That's kind of what I had in mind here. I can do it through. I can go through.
Precursor for everybody. These 4 guys in front of you, a part of Play the Fight Song, are in an online college football 26 dynasty. We are entering year 3. The following coaches are in front of you: Virginia Tech, Syracuse, the University of Louisiana, and Arkansas. Nobody has won a national title. Everybody, I believe, has won a bowl game. Reese, did you end up winning your bowl game?
I did. Gasparilla Bowl, Mississippi State. Suck it, bud.
All right. So Reese is a bowl champion. So we're entering year 3, and we are learning about our schedules for our very tough league because the sliders are all different. We're not playing on freshmen, like very tough.
So if
you're a league member, and there are other ones that are probably watching the show,
we got 7 guys.
Your schedule release. Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the 2027 schedule release here for the league, part of the Play the Fight Song online dynasty. Also, you got to preface, Parks, you coach Virginia Tech. I am Arkansas. JP's Louisiana. Syracuse is Reese. We also have 3 other members of Utah for Will. Max is Arizona State. And Justin, my brother, our other co-host, is
Are you forgetting who the other guy is?
Yeah, I almost did for a second. Relax.
Probably going to fucking call on the show again.
We're going to go alphabetical order. We'll start with the Arizona State Sun Devils, coached by Max Heidoff. And we're just going to do non-cons because that's all anybody cares about. So we schedule people. Your non-conference for Arizona State this year is at Louisville, playing Justin week 1, going on the road against the number 11 team in the country. Then he hosts the Hogs. Arkansas is going to Tempe on week 2. So he's got back-to-back user games between Justin and myself. And then the schedule got a little weird. He had to play a non-conference game in week 8. I just slotted him Oregon State. So that's who you got, Max. Louisville, Arkansas, Oregon State. Myself, I'm trying out a new offense, so I needed a bye game week 1. I'm just going Tulsa week 1 for the Hogs. Week 2, like I just mentioned, I'm going to Arizona State. Week 3, we got Duke, the reigning runner-ups in the ACC. Nope, runner-ups.
Runner-ups, you're right. Sorry.
Number 7, Duke Blue Devils is coming to Fayetteville. So that's a big one. I'm scary. I don't know. I heard they have a hell of an offense. I got to see for it myself.
And they could be Louisiana or Virginia.
They're good. They are good, JB.
I'm an SEC guy, so we got to schedule another bye game in there. So we threw Southern Miss on the schedule as well to kind of get things comfortable before we have a gauntlet of an SEC schedule. The Louisville Cardinals, Arizona State week 1, like I mentioned. James Madison week 2 to just give him a little bye game in there. And then at Nebraska, at number 16, Nebraska for the Louisville Cardinals. And then as usual, they play at Kentucky to end the year. Also, a little known fact, in the middle of the season, Louisville has to play back-to-back games between Virginia Tech and then Syracuse the following week. So Justin's got himself a little schedule this year.
He had a good portal class, though.
He did have a good class. We'll see if he can respond this year. Louisiana, the moment JP's been waiting for because he's just been bitching up a storm about teams not wanting to play him. and how the little old G5 and nobody wants to play Louisiana. Well, how about week 1? You go to the Carrier Dome there, JP, at Syracuse. Number 24 Syracuse, week 1. Come back in Louisiana at Lafayette. You're going to host number 21 UCLA. There is your Big Ten school, so I don't want to hear anything from you. And then again, you host another Power 4 opponent. I don't know how this managed to happen, but Utah.
Was it already on there? Oh,
Utah is coming to Lafayette. I don't want to hear any ifs, ands, or buts about that from Will. I just threw that on his schedule. You got Arkansas State after that, good Sun Belt team. But then your last non-conference game will be Ole Miss on the schedule. So I gave you UCLA, Ole Miss, and Utah and Syracuse. You wanted all Power 4 opponents, Jordan. You got them. So go ahead. Go crazy.
Kid really didn't listen to any of my requests, but I got you.
Syracuse, Louisiana, week 1, like I mentioned. Little regional game, little bye game. Buffalo at home for Syracuse to kind of get his feet underneath him for season number 2 for Reese. At Minnesota, and then UConn at home. So, Reese, I know you're new to the game. Good. I tried to give you a little bit of challenge. You got one of the best P4 or G5 teams in the country. You got to go on the road to play at the bank against Minnesota. We'll see how you shake up there. Utah, Air Force at home to start the year. Boise State at home to start the year. At Louisiana. Those are the 3 non-conference games. And then to wrap it up. Now, this one got weird. Virginia Tech had a weird ACC schedule. I didn't know what to do with it. So the computer put this out, and I just kind of kept it the same. Liberty and Old Dominion are your first 2 weeks. I was like, whatever. We'll just throw some easy bye games in there because then you jump right into ACC play parks. And you think
bye games in this league? I mean, I know we say that, but like a lot of us win those by 3 points.
These are bye games, I guess. Okay. And I was like, I'll give him those because I'll be nice to Parks because you think it starts easy. It doesn't finish easy. You also have Syracuse and Louisville back-to-back weeks in your schedule. And then it goes.
Are those on the road?
Syracuse at home at Louisville. And then this is all in a row. I should have prefaced this. This is all in a row, Parks. Syracuse at home. At Louisville, Miami at home, Notre Dame at home, bye week at Maryland. There's your other 2 non-cons that the computer gave you. And I was like, yeah, those are for a team that made the college football playoff. I feel like that's fair. So Liberty, Old Dominion, Notre Dame at home, at Maryland.
The culture we built in Blacksburg attacks challenges. I'm not worried about it.
We don't worry about it. Adversity is a thing we welcome in life up here in upstate New York. We're not worried about that.
I believe everybody is preseason ranked besides Will and JP. So we've got ourselves a hell of a year 3 going to be in store this year. I'm looking.
My team went up 9 overall points across the board and won a playoff game, but here we are.
There we are. Any rebuttals? Any rebuttals? What do we figure out?
We got to figure out how to sort of
you lay them out. I knock them down.
We got to get people to actually tune into these other than just like our podcast or other than just like the.
Can we stream it like from the Play the Fight Song channel?
Probably.
For
that'd be fun.
We can post the Discord
or
link
YouTube.
I don't know if we'd get some viewers.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody does. Who knows?
It's because we got
AKC or GA might come in. Who knows?
JP, we got to build the hype with this. We just kind of laid it out there. Nobody knew about it. We just kind of got to subtly like throw it out there and feed the people. See what they also time out for like Max, Will, JT. You guys all tuning in. You better like the damn video or I'm coming after you. Like the video.
Or hype it. You're on your phone. Hype
the video. Sorry. Hype the video.
Hey,
like and hype.
All right. It's lunchtime in Lafayette.
Oh, wow. Lunchtime. Hashtag lunchtime. That's the brand
for
this year?
Hashtag JP's munching.
Lunch Winfield. You ever heard of him? You're about to.
All right. That's everything. That's Play the Fight song for tonight, February 11th. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you shop our great partner over at No Rivals. ShopNoRivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping on the best hats in collegiate sports. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We appreciate our great partner. We'll see you next week for another college football topic, more college football coverage. Make sure you follow YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. We have content and collaborations coming out you won't want to miss. We love you. We'll see you next week. Jake, take it away. Sorry.
Let the games begin. Play it.